So we had some time on Friday to try these out. Some of you shied away from it. Some of you tried them. So we're going to go over what we would do on page 195 to practice these. 195, 195, 195. All right. So we talked about how we could write these both as decimals because we know 1/4 is a terminating decimal. What is a terminating decimal? It doesn't repeat, or what does repeat is a 0, right? So if you were using your calculator and didn't know that 1/4 was a quarter or 25 cents or 25 hundredths, you could always do top divided by the bottom, 1 divided by 4. Remember, that's what that fraction bar means, is divided by. Boys, let's not hold hands. Let's just do it. And we get 0.25. So we have -3 7/10 plus 0.25. We practiced adding and subtracting decimals quite a bit, but remember our signs are different, so we have to find the difference. So we always take big minus little. Well, our 3.7 is bigger and our 0.25 is smaller. So we have to line up our decimals. We can't take 5 from nothing, so if we borrow from the 7, it becomes a 6, and that 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 6 minus 2 is 4. Bring down your decimal. 3 minus 0 is 3. And is it positive or negative? Negative, because our bigger number was negative. All right. So 3 and 45 hundredths, you could turn that back into a mixed number if you wanted to, but it's not really necessary. This one we said we had to do as fractions. So we wrote 4 and 1/10. If we know how to say a decimal, we should be able to write it as a base 10 fraction, right? We know 1 divided by 3. Oops. 1 divided by 3 would give us a repeating decimal, right? Which is why we had to do it in fractions. So what is a common denominator of 3 and 10? 30? So something out of 30 plus something out of 30. What do I have to multiply the 3 by to get 30? 10. So that's what I multiply the 1 by. What's 10 times 1? What do I multiply the 10 by to get 30? 3. So 1 times 3 is 3. So now I have 10 plus 3, which is 13. So I have 4 and 13/30. Don't forget that we did have a 4 that we have to bring back into the play. Okay, I know these are a little bit tricky, but you can do them. Again, if it's terminating, we can do them in decimals. So we have -1.25 plus 0.75 plus 0.45. Well, since in decimals, can't I just put it in my calculator? Yeah, you could. If you didn't want to, you're finding the difference here. 1.25 minus 0.75. 5 minus 5 is 0. Borrow. So 50 cents essentially, but it's negative. So I have -50. -50 hundredths plus 45 hundredths. So we have to find the difference again. 0.5 minus minus 0.45. You borrow. So you have 500. And it is negative. So if I put it into my calculator, again, remember you have this negative thing up here. So you could say, oops, negative 1.25 plus 0.75 plus 0.45 to check your work there. All right, quickly, 1/6 is a repeating decimal. So we have to do these as fractions. So negative 1/4 plus 3 1/6. Ugh. So we have to take a quarter from this. 1/4 from 3 1/6. I know it's a little complicated. We can rewrite these all out of 12. So negative, we have to multiply the 4 by 3. So negative 3/12. We'd have to multiply by 2, so 3 2/12 plus 2 1/12. So addition says we could do it in any order. We could have 5 3/12 minus 3/12 would give us 5. Right? 2 plus 1 gives us 3/12. Minus 3/12 is 5. 5. It's a little tricky. All right. So today I have. So this is just reinforcing this 4-2 section. It's for extra practice. Remember, the additive inverse is simply the opposite of it. So what's the additive inverse of negative 1/2? Just 1/2. Beautiful. The additive inverse of 2500ths is negative 2500ths. So hopefully those few will be quick. Then you're adding and finding the additive inverse. Adding and finding the additive inverse. This will tell you if it wants you to do it as fractions, right? Fractions or decimals. Decimal fraction, decimal. You may use a calculator if it's helpful, for sure. They're up here in the basket. Try these. We'll see how much time we have to get them done.